Greetings. You're the black light with the flavor to save you and the kind of knowledge you won't get in college. No vision, no future. No future or no hindsight, no vision. Let me say that again. No vision, no future. No hindsight, no vision. Check this out right quick. So you got to go in the past sometime. Go to the root.
6% in the last year. Cost of gasoline has increased by about 35%.
Thank you very much. Mayor Meyer.
Mr. President, at this time I would like to yield, by your leave, to the distinguished mayor of Detroit for his statement.
Mayor Coleman Young, Mayor of Detroit.
Thank you very much, Mayor Meyer and members of the committee. I shall attempt to be brief. First of all, I believe that all mayors here look upon New York's problem as symptomatic of a national crisis in American cities. Indeed, a national urban crisis that's been too long overlooked here in Washington. The impact of New York's crises obviously spreads far beyond the borders of that city and that state, and has a very telling effect on all other cities. I can cite my own city's example, for instance, and as has been pointed out, it does not matter to the bond market whether cities have taken steps in order to correct their situation or whether they have not. In Detroit, for instance, we have within the last 18 months reduced the number of our public employees from 25,000 to 20,000. That's a 20% cut in services to our people. We've taken every economy measure that we can, and yet as we have approached the bond market over the last year, we found that the imminence of the crisis in New York City has affected our ability to sell our bonds. Never prior to 1974 did Detroit pay in excess of 6% on a general obligation bonds. As we approached the market last year, already with rumblings of the New York crisis, we found we were unable to float bonds within the 8% limitation that our state legislature imposes upon us. We're forced to withdraw those bonds, go back to Lansing, our state capital, get the ceiling raised to 10%, again approach the bond market on a $30 million issue where we paid 9.8.
On a tax-exempt bond.
On tax-exempt bond, which we feel to be extortionate. We needed another $20 million on the same project. We knew Big Mac was coming, and so we went in advance of need to get an additional $20 million, which is certainly imprudent, but there was desperation. We paid 9.9. 1/10 of 1% short of our limit. I gather that is the going rate, Mr. Chairman, in Wall Street. Mayor Bean can testify to that point. So the point that I too am not an economist. I know what's happening in Detroit. I know that New York is the financial capital of the world. I don't know what will happen to the banks across this nation and across the world if New York should default. What should happen in a domino theory, an economic domino theory, the stability of our economy. I think that obviously we need to meet what is a national urban crisis, and we need to meet it on the same basis that the federal government recognized in the 30s that the national crisis in our farms threatened the existence of our nation. We need to mobilize fully the full resources of our federal government in order to save our cities, because if our cities go down, in my opinion, our nation will go down. While we talk about New York City and problem of other cities and what the administration is doing, I would just like to know what is happening here in Congress to the anti-depression public works bill, which now languishes in conference, and which can have a meaningful impact on the needs of every mayor representing every city here. So I think that while we talk about what the administration isn't doing, Mr. Chairman, we would also talk about what is Congress going to do about anti-recession, about public works. We need that money. New York needs that money. I think that in closing, we stand on the brink of a national and international catastrophe, financial catastrophe. Now is the time for action and leadership by the Congress as well as the administration.
Thank you very much, Mayor Young. Your next witness, Henry, Mayor Gibson.
Young has certainly pointed out the fact that we are now presently being affected by the interest rates.
See, y'all don't like 20/20 hindsight. Y'all don't like that. Y'all don't like to go to the root of things. If you're the type of black man that don't like to go to the root, you stick your head in the sand like an ostrich. If you're that type of black man, and most of you are like that. What does Democrat mean, or democracy? It means the majority rule. In Detroit, 77. But we don't rule, we don't control nothing. That's why you got Arabs owning everything, so-called Arabs. They're not the real Arabs. We the real Arabs because we the original Asiatic black men. And that's why you got Chinese getting all your beauty supplies, controlling all your beauty supplies. Chaldeans control all your farms or supermarkets, so-called Chaldean. Because this generation is punctified. And I know I said something about the men taking control of your woman. You ain't taking control of her. The white man is taking control of her. His name is on that dollar bill. How is Trump affording all those trials? He got security. He got a little army of security around him all the time. They said he sold out to the Russians. That might be true. Maybe that's why Biden gave a whole lot of money to Ukraine. See? Yeah, they always do that infighting. But they're going to make sure they keep both of them keep their foot on your neck. Divide and conquer is the name of the game. That's why minority can rule the majority of black people all across the planet. And here in Detroit. Stay ready. Assalamu alaikum.